Hello there, squirrels. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it today or not. It's been rough with these feet today. But yay, I got to have lunch with my girls today. And bro and ex. But you know, the main focus was on my girls. And Lindsay, I hope she got out. Need to see if I've got a text from her. Hope her plane left. She didn't have any delays. I forgot where she said she had to drive to. I don't know if it was just to get the best price or maybe a combination, get the best price flight and also to get to the small airport in Concord, which is near her sister. But anyway, I'm here to read to y'all one of Louisa May Alcott's. I think. Yes. And I hope I haven't read this before. I should have looked back, but I'll probably remember it. But anyway, whether I did or not, this will be the 2022 reading. Like I did Christmas Carol, because I've read Christmas Carol probably several times before. But this is called A Country Christmas by Louisa May Alcott, first published in 1868, and it starts out with a letter. Dear Emily, I have a brilliant idea and at once hasten to share it with you. 3 weeks ago, I came up here to the wilds of Vermont to visit my old aunt, also to get a little quiet and distance in which to survey certain new prospects which have opened before me, and to decide whether I will marry a millionaire and become a queen of society or remain, in quotations, the charming Miss Vaughn and wait till the conquering hero comes. Aunt Plummy begs me to stay over Christmas, and I have consented, as I always dread the formal dinner with which my guardian celebrates the day. My brilliant idea is this. I'm going to make it a real old-fashioned frolic, and won't you come and help me? You will enjoy it immensely, I'm sure, for Aunt is a character. Cousin Saul, S-A-U-L, worth seeing, and Ruth, a far prettier girl than any of the city rosebuds coming out this season. Bring Leonard Randall along with you to take notes for his new books. Then it will be fresher and truer than the last, clever as it was. The air is delicious up here, society amusing, this old farmhouse full of treasures, and your bosom friend pining to embrace you. Just telegraph yes or no, and we will expect you on Tuesday. Ever yours, Sophie Vaughn. They will both come, for they are as tired of city life and as fond of change as I am, said the writer of the above as she folded her letter and went to get it posted without delay. Aunt Plummy was in the great kitchen making pies, a jolly old soul, with a face as ruddy as a winter apple, a cheery voice, and the kindest heart that ever beat under a gingham gown. Pretty Ruth was chopping the mince and singing so gaily as she worked that the 24 immortal blackbirds could not have put more music into a pie than she did. Saul was piling wood into the big oven, and Sophie paused a moment on the threshold to look at him, for she always enjoyed the sight of the stalwart cousin, whom she likened to a Norse Viking with his fair hair and beard, keen blue eyes, and 6 feet of manly height, with shoulders that looked broad and strong enough to bear any burden. His back was toward her, but he saw her first and turned his flushed face to meet her with the sudden lighting up it always showed when she approached. I've done it, Aunt, and now I want Saul to post the letter so we can get a speedy answer. Just as soon as I can hitch up, cousin. And Saul pitched in his last log, looking ready to put a girdle around the earth in less than 40 minutes. Well, dear, I ain't the least mite of objection as long as it pleases you. I guess we can stand it if you city folks can. I presume to say things will look kind of singular to 'em, but I suppose that's what they come for. Idle folks do dreadful queer things to amuse 'em. And Aunt Plummy leaned on the rolling pin to smile and nod with a shrewd twinkle of her eye, as if she did enjoy the prospect as much as Sophie did. I shall be afraid of 'em, but I'll try not to make you ashamed of me, said Ruth, who loved her charming cousin even more than she admired her. No fear of that, dear. They will be the awkward ones, and you must set 'em at ease by just being your simple selves and treating them as if they were everyday people. Nell is very nice and jolly when she drops her city ways, as she must here. She will enter into the spirit of the fun at once, and I know you'll all like her. Mr. Randall is rather the worse for too much praise and petting, as successful people are apt to be, so a little plain talk and rough work will do him good. He is a true gentleman in spite of his airs and elegance, and he will take it all in good part if you treat him like a man and not a lion. I'll see to him, said Saul, who had listened with great interest to the latter part of Sophie's speech, evidently suspecting a lover and enjoying the idea of supplying him with a liberal amount of plain talk and rough work. I'll keep 'em busy if that's what they need, for there will be a sight to do, and we can't get help easy up here. Our darters don't hire out much, work to home till they marry, and don't go gadding round getting their heads full of foolish notions and forgetting all the useful things their mothers taught 'em. Aunt Plummy glanced at Ruth as she spoke, and a sudden color in the girl's cheeks proved that the words hit certain ambitious fancies of this pretty daughter of the house of Bassett. They shall do their parts and not be a trouble, I'll see to that, for you certainly are the dearest aunt in the world to let me take possession of you and yours in this way, cried Sophie, embracing the old lady with warmth. Saul wished the embrace could be returned by proxy, as his mother's hands were too floury to do much more than hover affectionately round the delicate face that looked so fresh and young beside her wrinkled one. As it could not be done, he fled temptation and hitched up without delay. The three women laid their heads together in his absence, and Sophie's plan grew apace, for Ruth longed to see a real novelist and a fine lady, and Aunt Plummy, having plans of her own to further, said, "Yes, dear," to every suggestion. Freezing. Great was the arranging and adorning that went on that day in the old farmhouse, for Sophie wanted her friends to enjoy this taste of country pleasures, and knew just what additions would be indispensable to their comfort, what simple ornaments would be in keeping with the rustic stage on which she meant to play the part of a prima donna. Next day a telegram arrived accepting the invitation for both the lady and the lion. They would arrive that afternoon, as little preparation was needed for this impromptu journey, the novelty of which was its chief charm to these blasé people. Saul wanted to get out the double sleigh and span, for he prided himself on his horses, and a fall of snow came most opportunely to beautify the landscape and add a new pleasure to Christmas festivities. But Sophie declared that the old yellow sleigh with Punch, the farm horse, must be used, as she wished everything to be in keeping, and Saul obeyed, thinking he had never seen anything prettier than his cousin when she appeared in his mother's old-fashioned camlet cloak and blue silk pumpkin hood. What it says. He looked remarkably well himself in his fur coat, with hair and beard brushed till they shone like spun gold, a fresh color in his cheek, and the sparkle of amusement in his eyes, while excitement gave his usually grave face the animation it needed to be handsome. Away they jogged in the creaking old sleigh, leaving Ruth to make herself pretty, with a fluttering heart, and Aunt Plummy to dish up a late dinner fit to tempt the most fastidious appetite. She has not come for us, and there is not even a stage to take us up. There must be some mistake, said Emily Herrick, as she looked about the shabby little station where they were set down. That is the never-to-be-forgotten face of our fair friend, but the bonnet of her grandmother, if my eyes do not deceive me, answered Randall, turning to survey the couple approaching in the rear. Sophie Vaughn, what do you mean by making such a guy of yourself? Exclaimed Emily, as she kissed the smiling face in the hood and stared at the quaint cloak. A guy of yourself? I'm dressed for my part, and I intend to keep it up. This is our host, my cousin, Saul Bassett. Come to the sleigh at once. He will see to your luggage, said Sophie, painfully conscious of the antiquity of her array as her eyes rested on Emily's pretty hat and mantle and the masculine elegancy of Randall's wraps. They were hardly tucked in when Saul appeared with a valise. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let me look it up. I think it's like a suitcase, maybe, in one hand, and a large trunk on his shoulders, swinging both onto the wood sleigh that stood nearby as easily as if they had been handbags. Valise, it says, a small traveling bag or suitcase. Let me see if it pronounces it.
Suitcase.
No, brother. Tell me how to pronounce valise. I know how to pronounce suitcase, for gosh sakes.
Suitcase.
Let me do this. English. English to French. I'm sorry, I'm taking forever on this. Trying to get this up here to French.
Valise.
Valise. Finally, that took forever. And it is what I said it was, a suitcase. That is your hero, is it? Well, he looks it, calm and comely, taciturn and tall, said Emily in a tone of approbation. He should have been named Samson or Goliath, though I believe it was the small man who slung things about and turned out the hero in the end, added Randall, surveying the performance with interest and a touch of envy, for much pen work had made his own hands as delicate as a woman's. Saul doesn't live in a glass house, so stones won't hurt him. Remember, sarcasm is forbidden and sincerity the order of the day. You are country folks now, and it will do you good to try their simple, honest ways for a few days. Y'all, I know that wasn't much. My feet are killing me. So I got to get in here and put them up. I was going to try to go live tonight, late, but I don't think hardly anybody will be up, and I just don't think I can stand it. So I'm going to take some Tylenol and put my feet up or go to bed. Love y'all. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. And Merry Christmas. And I'm sorry that was so short. Love y'all. Bye.